I will call the meeting to order. Let's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the approval of the February and March meeting minutes.
I make a motion that we approve March meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Pacer to approve the March 14th meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Which would include, as you say, February.
No, that's for the meeting minutes. The February would be the financial report.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. All right.
I make a motion that we approve February and March financial report.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Deason, that we approve the February and March financial reports. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next is Resolution 19. Introduction of local law number 1 for 2022.
Yep.
All right. Whereas the town board of the town of Stafford, New York desires to consider adopting legislation to prohibit parking on all roads from November 15th through April 15th between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Stafford, New York, that proposed local law number 1 of 2022 entitled Prohibiting Parking on All Town Roads from November 15th to April 15th between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m., which proposed local law is now in its final form and appears by a copy thereof hereto attached, being the same hereby is introduced for adoption. And be it further resolved that said proposed local law be laid upon the desks of the members of the town board on this date and remain there, and a copy thereof be kept on file in the office of the town clerk until May 9th, 2022. And that a public hearing be held before this town board on 9th day of May 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Stafford Town Hall, 8903 Route 237, Stafford, New York, on the advisability of enhancing said proposed local law. And be it further resolved that a copy of said proposed local law be mailed to each member of the town board not in attendance at this meeting in a post-paid, properly addressed and securely closed envelope in a post box within the town of Stafford, New York, not less than 10 calendar days exclusive of Sunday prior to the date of said public hearing. And be it further resolved that the town clerk shall cause notice of said public hearing to be published once in the Daily News no more than 10 days, but at least 5 days prior to the date of said public hearing, which notice shall contain the time and place of said public hearing, the title and purpose thereof, as well as a statement that a copy of said proposed local law is on file in the town clerk's office, dated April 11th, 2022. Motion to do that?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Any discussion? Further discussion about that?
You got that check through the lawyer, right?
Yes.
And worded per what the issues we raised last month.
Yep.
Right, that's my question.
Roll call.
Okay. Councilman Mullen,
Yes.
Councilman Pasek,
Yes.
Councilman Pianic,
Yes.
Councilman Deason,
Yes.
Supervisor Clement,
Yes. Passed 5-0.
It's the same for the town, kind of, same rules.
Is that all roads in Stafford, or is that just town roads?
Town roads.
All
roads.
all roads.
All roads. The whole town, right? Or is it all? All?
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
Yeah. All roads in town.
Resolution 21, hiring Michelle McEwen for cleaner, April 11th, 2022. Whereas the town of Stafford is looking to hire a cleaner for the town of Stafford Town Hall. The cleaner will only clean the common areas of the building. Whereas Councilman Panic made a motion to hire Michelle McEwen to clean the common areas of Town Hall at a rate of $20 per hour, not to exceed 4 hours per week, and $4,000 for the 2022 calendar year. Seconded by Councilman Pacer and approved on a 5-0 vote. Therefore, Michelle McEwen is the cleaner for the Stafford Town Hall at a rate of $20 per hour, not to exceed 4 hours per week, and $4,000 for the entire calendar year. The reason we're doing this is we have to have this so she can be paid. But that, according to our bookkeepers. Okay, a motion to do this?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes, I had a couple of questions.
Yes.
My first question, I guess, is if I hadn't asked for a raise, would this be an issue?
I don't know that it would have.
This was a budget issue,
Right.
so you
But at
asking
the
for a
budget
raise
workshop,
really had
it was
nothing to
discussed.
do with it.
Yes, it does. Because it was after the budget workshop, apparently there was another meeting held, and it was lowered.
All right.
So I guess it's very pertinent to the validity. I know some people ask for raises and they, granted immediately apparently, so.
Is this resolution here beside the point? Are you gonna do the job for 4?
No,
No?
no.
No. Okay,
But that
then,
leaves another question, the legality of it. When the ad was placed in the paper, because I'm watching the minutes from last month's meeting, were people not considered because they didn't live in Stafford?
there were some, yes.
Yes,
Okay. Is that legal?
yes.
Okay, because it wasn't in the specs that I received, and it also was not in the ad that was placed.
So now if nobody from Stafford applied, then we would hire from outside Stafford.
But that wasn't in here. And then getting to, now she's only doing common areas, who's cleaning offices?
Whoever occupies the offices.
For compensation?
No.
So she's not doing any of the offices, so the whole area, and she's not doing behind the bench in the courtroom. And she's not doing my
Behind
office,
the bench
Marilyn's
back
office.
is your offices, you don't have public there.
Okay. So that's like, she's doing a third less than what she was, what was the original in the specs. Now, is it legal to bid out a job on these specs and then change it after the fact.
Those specs allow us to do exactly what we're doing there, those specs. are
No, these
for everybody.
specs say that their
Those
offices
specs
are
are
being
for
cleaned. The offices
everyone.
are being cleaned.
Those specs are for everyone.
Yes,
No, it's less money than you were getting before, but it's less work.
true, but now if I'm going to be cleaning my office, I'm not gonna get paid at all for it? That whole area behind the bench and the offices and we're all just supposed to do
Simply
that by
keep your,
ourselves?
keep your offices clean. That's what most of the world does.
You vacuum your own office?
We had $250,000 per year engineers vacuum their own office in the private sector.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
So are you going to do the job for 4 or not?
No, I'm not.
You're not,
No,
so
I'm
then
not.
we need to re-advertise for the position.
Right,
Correct?
but I'm just asking the legality, I mean, moral and ethically doesn't come across to this board, so this is what, when you asked for the specs, this is what they said the people were bidding on.
Mhm.
And now you're giving it to somebody who's not bid on this, she's doing common areas only. So that's my
that's what
question.
we covered that 3 meetings ago, that we were gonna go to common areas only.
Well, we had what, 3, we had 6 people applying, I don't have that sheet.
Barb's got the sheet.
It's in the office.
We had services apply, we had a couple people from outside the town apply, and then we had some very good people from inside town. You don't want Michelle? Well, there's 2 others that would, to me, would fill right in. I gave everybody a summary.
How can that be legal to not hire you because you don't live in the town? That
We
don't
can
sound, that don't
favor,
sound
we
legal.
can favor town residents.
Oh, you can? That's a
Yes.
law?
Yes.
Okay.
That's kind of our own law, we try to.
Oh, your
try to
own
keep-
law? Okay, it's
Right,
not, it's
try
not
to
a New York,
keep people
It's-
in the town.
That's not a New York State law,
We have a
then.
different.
Our,
New
the
York-
New York
assessor's not
State
from
does
our
not
town.
force us to hire locally, we simply hire locally.
okay.
All right, then, maybe we better table this till next meeting? or-
No, why?
No.
We can move forward,
All right, okay.
because this is for Michelle.
So therefore, we gotta put somebody else's name in.
No, that's her, no, for Michelle. Terry doesn't want it.
This is
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right, the motion by Councilman Deason, second by Councilman Pacer. Roll call.
Councilman Mullin,
Yes.
Councilman Tanner,
Yes.
Councilman Deason,
Yes.
Councilman Pacer,
Yes.
Supervisor Clement.
Yes.
Didn't we,
My part.
going back, didn't we used to have to pass a resolution because Ann was from Virgin? Don't you guys remember that about 15 years ago? You remember it. To actually hire somebody from outside the town. So what's changed since then?
15 years.
Bob's been on for 30, so's he, Rob's
At the time, there's nobody qualified.
Yeah.
just
No, is it only, no,
he's new.
you only take Stafford residents on your team,
Pretty much.
so. But, am I the only, no, you remember
Yeah,
that we used to have to do a resolution on that.
every time.
Do you remember why?
Because she was out of,
Because we no longer do that resolution, something changed.
no, we do it when the 7-year appointment is up.
Now you're talking about the assessor, right?
Yes,
Yes,
No.
when the 7 years is up. That's when it
no,
starts.
but we used to pass a resolution about having people hired that were not town residents.
We did that too in code enforcement,
Yes.
when Gene was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we just did it on an individual basis, as it came up.
No, but for some reason, we were passing a resolution that it had to be a town resident.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I have a question on this spec thing. Is this what people were given when they were applying for the job? Is this what went out? This is the
This is what
description?
was available.
This, okay. So it didn't have a price on what you were willing to pay them? They just put what they were willing to accept the job for? Okay,
Based on
that's
those.
what, based on those things. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it went everywhere from, what was the high?
13,000.
13,000 a year?
Why couldn't those bids be opened in public? I thought bids had to be opened in public.
When we get, I don't know,
We had a summary of them, everybody saw the summary.
yeah.
But
You
you
got
didn't
a
see
summary.
I got a summary of who applied. I didn't see what they asked for. So how do we know Michelle, $20 was the best? Was someone willing to do it for 18? I mean,
No. No, but it's all in the file, all the background information is in the
It was
file.
on the budget for $4,000, wasn't it?
What's that?
Wasn't it budgeted?
For 4,000, yes.
4,000, so what was the question?
The original question was it illegal to favor Stafford residents?
No,
I assumed it
that
was the
wasn't the
uniform.
question.
The
Excluding
uniform.
people because they didn't live in Stafford was the question.
I thought it was either law or policy.
I don't think it's, I
Normally
don't think it's New York State law
favor
though.
Residents.
It's in town law.
Town law, New York State law, is two
Thank you.
different things.
I don't think we excluded people because they lived out of the area.
That's what he said.
I think what we do is favor Stafford residents.
Yes.
No. They
Which
said
is a
that
big
Some
difference.
had already been excluded, watching the minutes last month, somebody, because they didn't live in Stafford.
That's because we had people in Stafford that
Stafford.
applied.
Yeah,
If you didn't have Stafford residents apply, then we would have turned to them.
Right.
but that wasn't the way it was worded when you're watching the minutes, the meeting last month.
Well, then,
Because then it was this
I
whole
don't
big
know
row
why,
about the
but-
historian having to be in Stafford, then you specifically said that, well, yeah, we just gotta get rid of a cleaner, we have to have a cleaner in Stafford, we have to have a historian in Stafford.
yeah, we had three under budget Stafford residents that applied.
Mhm.
If they hadn't applied, then we would have considered the out-of-town people.
Doesn't that fall under discrimination?
How is it discriminating favoring your own residents?
It's still discriminating.
What's that?
It's still discriminating, because I don't live in town of Stafford, I can't get a job there.
None of them were a protected group.
Okay.
No, if you want to use the word discrimination, you have to use the word protected group in there. We didn't do anything on race, anything on age, anything on sexual orientation, anything on sex.
But you did it on where you live.
Yes,
That's okay.
yes, according to the law.
Okay. I don't know, just asking.
So this motion stands.
Yes.
Resolution 22. Agreement between the Genesee County Planning Board and the Town of Stafford. Agreement exempting certain minor land use actions from Genesee County Planning Board review. I'll read the three paragraphs here, then it should make sense. In accordance with the New York State General Municipal Law, Article 12B, Section 239-M.3, C of the laws of 1991, the Genesee County Planning Board is authorized to voluntarily enter into agreements with cities, towns, and villages regarding certain proposed land use actions that are of local rather than inter-community or county-wide concern, and therefore are not subject to referral to the Genesee County Planning Board as would otherwise be required by Section 239M and N. Purpose. It is the intent of this agreement to eliminate the need for county review of certain actions as defined herein which do not have significant intercommunity or county-wide impacts. The agreement between the Genesee County Planning Board and the Town of Stafford Board shall be identical to that between the county and any other municipality. Procedures. Upon the municipality's receipt of a proposal by an applicant, it is the responsibility of the municipal officials, parenthesis S, who is in charge with submitting referrals to the Genesee County Planning Board to determine if an application is exempt from referral to the County Planning Board. This determination shall be based on those actions specifically listed in Section 4, minor land use actions exempt from referral to the County Planning Board of the agreement. If a proposal does not fall within one of the categories listed in Section 4, it shall be submitted to the County Planning Board in the prescribed manner. If it does fall within Section 4, there is no need for further involvement of or notice to the County Planning Board. Any questions?
So this is basically modifying the agreement between our planning board and the county planning board on what is being reviewed.
And our zoning board. Yeah, Jerry,
Zoning board of appeals, yes.
you want to add your 2 cents to this because you were,
Well, we send pretty much everything to the county now, and they're saying that we don't need to. So they just want us to sign an agreement to be in agreement with that, so we don't have to send it to them.
but you still can if you think.
Yeah, we can send anything we want to them.
But there's no modification of our zoning law or?
No.
Right.
Did we originate this new resolution, or did it come from the county, or did it come from us?
It came from the county to us.
And then it was reviewed by the planning board
And the zoning board.
and the zoning board.
And we have letters from both boards. Any further questions, comments, motion to do this or not?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilman Pacer, second by Councilman Penny, to approve resolution number 22 of April 11th, 2022. We do a roll call, yeah.
Councilman Mullen?
Yes.
Councilman Panic?
Yes.
Councilman Deason?
Yes.
Councilman Pacer?
Yes.
Supervisor Clement?
Yes. Passed 5-0. Historian search. As you all know, or maybe you don't know, our historian passed away and we need to find another one. I got an email that was sent to Steve from, let's see, Michael Euler. He's the county historian. It starts out, hello Steve, pursuant to our conversation earlier today, please note that the appointment of a local historian is mandated under New York State law. This is found in section 57.13 of the Arts and Cultural Affairs Law section and continues through section 57.15. This is popularly known as the Historian's Law of 1919. The generally accepted job description of the public historian includes the following. Primary job of the historian is the interpretation of the past. This involves research and writing. The candidate should be comfortable undertaking research, synthesizing materials, and providing an interpretive written narrative regarding Stafford's past. The candidate needs to be willing to provide public presentations regarding Stafford's past. The historian is also a research for local school curriculums that may include Stafford's history. The candidate will spearhead the preservation of manuscripts documenting Stafford's past. This preservation also includes Stafford's material artifacts regarding its history. The Stafford historian is a leader in the organization and advocacy of programs regarding Stafford's past, such as commemorations of historical anniversaries, patriotic and civic events, and also may be involved in efforts to raise funds. The historian will also write grant proposals. If you have any questions, and it was signed by Michael Eula. Now we had three applications.
We got 3 resumes that are very extensive, that I think they need to be reviewed.
Want to table it then?
There's yeah, I think that,
A couple of them are well qualified to do whatever, but not necessarily be a historian, in my opinion. But if this is the first time anybody's seen this, maybe we can table it until next month.
Can we know who the applicants are?
Let's see. M. Fernanda Astiz and 41 Union Street, Batavia. Barbara Dietrich, 48 Tracy Avenue, Batavia, New York. And Colleen McHale O'Connor, 6184 Main Road, P.O. Box 805, Stafford, New York.
Do they have to be a resident of Stafford?
Yeah, that was the big thing last month.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, there again, we
Would favor it,
would favor it
if they're qualified.
if they're
because they're
qualified.
qualified.
The two names are, the two first names that you mentioned are people that I've never heard of before, and, you know, being in the Historical Society, I would think that we would have somebody that had been hanging around, knowing Stafford, learning about Stafford, being a part of us already.
I personally think it's very important that somebody who is the historian would live here and have lived here for a while. But that's just,
No, it does make sense.
yeah.
It's, you know, it's like so many police and fire, where there's a residency requirement.
Yeah.
Why? Because you want the people there for immediate response. Your plow drivers.
Yeah.
It's nice to have them from here, immediate response.
I'll read the second paragraph here. I have lived in the historic district of Stafford since 2006. I currently serve as rector of St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Leroy since 2005 and priest in charge at St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Stafford since 2013. As a resident of the town of Stafford, I have been interested in local history. This interest has led me to serve as a board member of the Stafford Historical Society. As a member of the board, I have been involved in researching aspects of local history using the resources found in the Stafford Historical Society, the town of Stafford, and the Genesee County Historical Society.
So does that person qualify? I mean, do they take care of everything that we have?
Hey, Bob, read that paragraph starting with finally.
That's important.
Okay, well, I'll read the whole thing here as long as I'm at it.
Oh, what you did.
Prior to moving into Western New York, I spent more than 20 years working as a professional librarian, including as the director of the library at St. Francis Seminary in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. As a librarian, I have experience researching information using resources in a variety of formats. I am also experienced with the requirements for preserving artifacts, including books, documents, and other materials. In my professional roles as a librarian and as a priest, I am proficient in developing programs and presentations, leading educational events, and speaking before audiences both large and small. My goal is always to create a presentation that is compelling, interesting, cohesive, and which connects to the individuals in the audience. Finally, as both a librarian and as a priest, I have successfully applied for a number of grants to support projects and programs of the organizations I serve. I have also administered these grants and provided the required reports to the granting body. I look forward to speaking with you further concerning the details of this position.
The pay is what?
Hmm?
The pay? Well, it's about $1,400, isn't it?
I don't know.
$1,400.
Is it 14? 1,400?
We have been extremely pleased with Colleen as our priest at St. Paul's for the many years that she served us.
One here for this Fernanda Estes, a former college professor.
Do the other two have anything that ties them to Stafford?
Well,
I'm proud of them saying that.
No, they don't say it.
And it'd be great if somebody had family here, you know?
Well, do we want to have a sub-team go over these and flush out a recommendation? Maybe get together with the Historical Society?
we can do that.
Good idea. I do.
I'd love to see someone actually have family and history in it,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Linda, how's that sound to you?
That would be fine.
All right. All right, who from the board wants to get together with Linda?
So we'll table this for now and
Table it, but we need somebody to get together with Linda to review the applications.
I'll do it. My time is very slim right now because of work, but
well, I can do it too.
if you and I wanna do it, we can do it.
Sure.
Okay, if you run out of time, let me know.
Okay, I will.
Okay, Linda, you want my copies of who they are?
Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
You'll tell us then when we should get together and have a meeting.
I'd be glad to, or you tell me.
So I'm available most anytime. So I mean, down works.
Can we do an evening?
Sure.
I can do it evening next week, Tuesday or Thursday.
Flying to Washington to see a grandson.
It's important. Or the week after. Okay.
week of the 25th.
No, I don't come home till the 26th,
Okay. How about Thursday, the 28th?
okay,
We'll meet at 7 o'clock.
all right?
Here. All right. What is it, the 28th? Okay. Resolution 23. Resolution 23, zoning and planning board secretary replacement. April 11th, 2022. Whereas the planning board and zoning board is in need of a replacement secretary when the current secretary is unavailable. Therefore, the planning board and zoning board are looking to have Barbara Radley be the replacement secretary for their respective boards when the current secretary is unavailable, at a rate of $75 per meeting.
So moved.
Second. Yeah, Walkman does it, doesn't he?
Well, it said, there's another letter here from Michael Nathan. Barb Radley, town clerk, town of Stafford, filled in as secretary for the public hearing and regular meeting for the zoning board of appeals on 3/21/22. We were not able to pay her as she had never been appointed as acting secretary by the board. I'm requesting that the board appoint her to this position so she can be paid and also used in the future when the secretary is on vacation or out due to illness. Who made that motion? Ron, you made it? You were Mullen, John?
Yeah.
What's that?
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman
No.
Panic to appoint Barbara Radley as the replacement secretary for the respective boards. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
No, I'm missing one too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm missing, Charter Communications for 249.
Resolution 24.
We just subtract it from the television
Oh, they get,
from,
Resolution 24, establishing standard workday and
he's looking
reporting
for property.
elected and appointed officials exempt from the time and attendance system. Resolved, the Stafford Town Board hereby establishes the following as a standard workday for elected and appointed officials exempt from the time and attendance system, and will report the following day's work to the New York State and local employees retirement system based on the record of activities maintained and submitted by these officials to the town supervisor and bookkeeper. Be it further resolved, the town clerk is hereby directed, as required by section 315.4C, to post said resolution on the town's website and the sign board located in the town hall, and be it further resolved, the town clerk is hereby directed to file a certified copy of the resolution and an affidavit of posting with the office of the state comptroller. I'll add this. Any questions about it?
So that's submitting, Barb, we've gone this route earlier in the year, and now this is submitting Barb's specific.
Yeah,
Right.
because the rest of us have already been done.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Deason, second by Councilman Pacer. Any further questions or comments about this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So, number 10, Kathy Worthington, questions on Water District 12. I talked with the engineer today, late this afternoon. It's supposed to go out on the street this week.
Going out to bid
Yes.
this week.
Well, it's
Well.
advertising
Oh,
for
okay.
bids, yeah. And dog park, cost of the fence, I think the dog park is one person's opinion, and I think that's pretty much of a dead issue.
I still think we should, when we can get a price, we should get a price. And just keep it in the back of our hat. We've got land out here.
We have 109 acres, as I understand that you could put a dog park on.
Oh, you want the green span? Yeah, I guess you could.
My dog loved it.
You'd probably lose them down there.
Not if it's fenced in.
Well, yeah.
I'll get a price for a fence, or if you need, that's a big issue about getting a price for a fence. I mean,
I mean, I saw some
even-
other
even if
people
we-
walking a dog, and I asked them. I mean, I wasn't even the one that originally brought this up, I just thought it was a good idea.
How much is insurance gonna cost for this?
That's what we were talking about before, that it's one of those high-risk items. So
Correct.
it's one of the other things we have to look into.
Well, did that ever get looked into? I mean, that's why I was trying to follow up. I thought the insurance guy somebody was gonna check with them as to what it
Well-
was.
With this year's budget, even if it was wildly popular, we wouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
The next question here is money market laws. We are not, our money is not invested in the stock market.
So-
We cannot do
Why
it.
was I understand that, why was there the discrepancy last month then? Cause you didn't pass the budget last month, you didn't pass the financial statement last month, cause there was a little bit of a discrepancy. Somebody had brought that up, I think it was
But the
Councilman Mullin.
discrepancy wasn't with the money market account, and there was not a discrepancy,
Oh.
I just had a question that I had to investigate.
Okay,
There's a difference.
But the money market account can go down simply by spending money.
Okay, and then next
We
there's
spend money.
reports from the CEO and zoning enforcement officer and fire department, website questions, newsletter questions. Well, the fire department gives us a report every month.
okay.
Do you see it?
No, I don't know, where do you find it?
Oh, okay, well, I didn't know.
You read them one month and then you read them in February, but then in March you didn't read them.
Okay.
So I didn't know if
We'll make sure they get on the website so you can.
Oh, yeah, if they're just put on there, it's
Yeah,
fine.
no, they send us,
Although that website's getting more and more challenging to navigate through, but I'm getting there. It's not the easiest website to navigate through. I know, Barb, I feel for you. And the links on the website, I know I brought this up last year to both Julies. When you click on the email, where it says notifications and you click on to be notified of things and you put in your email and then you're supposed to get notified of the things you check. I've never been notified. There's something wrong with the link.
And we had this discussion
Right.
in our office, and I told you, it's a very complicated, whole process, and I'm still learning it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I asked the two Julies even before you, and because they were having issues with it not working as well.
It's
So, I mean, if it's-
very complicated, and I cannot promise you it'll get done, because it's.
Well, then you should just take it off
If
there.
it doesn't work. why
Just
can't we
take it off
take
because it
Yes,
says,
that is in my thought process, but I wasn't sure how everybody felt about it.
you know,
It's
if you're,
very difficult.
Well, with that last insurance for their cyber, then with the computer guy, they've tightened right down on
Mm-hmm.
with the cyber security and having links that may not be secure. They
Mhm.
kind of just.
Well, if you direct people to the website to find things and we can't find them, that's,
And it's very difficult to post things as well.
Yeah.
If you recall, as Julie closed out business, I gave both you and her a report on our minutes.
Mm-hmm.
1/3 of our minutes from her 4 years are still missing.
so are some from Walt's, cause I asked Walt.
And I'm just getting time now. My main focus this first 3 months has been taxes. I have not had time to do this.
Which ones are missing from Walt?
He gave me copies of them from 2000, from the one of the planning and zoning boards. There were some missing from the planning and zoning, but he got them, he printed them for me.
Planning and zoning boards, I don't think are as severe an issue as having the town board minutes missing.
And I'm working on that. I worked a
Alright.
little bit on it today, when I had time.
All right, now, you're doing an excellent job. We have not added to our violation of the open meeting law since you've taken over. You're getting everything, at least in draft, within 2 weeks, which is the requirement. And then, to be honest with you, the law really doesn't push you to approve the minutes. But we do, and then we put them on as
And then-
approved.
Yeah.
But we have to find those minutes and get them up there.
I'm working on it. There are some, I have one I cannot find in the documents. I cannot find it.
Because not having a newsletter is not a violation of the law.
No.
Our links is not a violation of the law. Our missing minutes are a violation of the law.
And I'm working on it.
All right.
You have an assistant, don't you? Can't you get them to help you?
Mm-hmm.
Give her some more hours if you need to get it straightened around?
I used up half of my allotted hours already because of taxes.
Get more hours.
So while we're on this subject, I was gonna bring this up later, but, so at budget time, we got a estimate from the county that, if they were gonna do our taxes again, they were gonna charge us $7,500. At budget time, we gave the tax collector $5,000. That left a $2,500 gap that we didn't use. And I was gonna ask tonight, or make a resolution that we take that $2,500 and put it toward the town clerk's deputies to help with getting these missing minutes and to get the files reorganized. Because I know you've got a lot of files to get reorganized.
Yes.
And I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second that.
Barb, I'll write it out for you, okay?
We'll second it.
I'll third it, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll let you read it.
Mhm.
Read it.
So I'm making a motion that we take $2,500. It would be from, what account would it come from?
Tax collection.
Tax collection.
Tax collection, okay, yeah. And apply that, use that money toward hours for the deputy clerks at their current hourly rate. To get the missing minutes caught up and time to reorganize files. That makes sense? No?
Yes.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
But again, while we're on the subject, taxes are done.
Yes,
Right.
they are done. They're all paid to the county. Today I paid the town the last portion.
Everything's done to the county, county's happy.
Yes.
No hundreds of hours,
No, I asked them if they are not charging us a cent.
I know this is gonna be a subject in our next, piece of business here, but it kinda goes along here too with this extra money for the town clerk deputies is, we're getting more and more FOIL requests and it's taking up time. So we need to talk about that in the next, subject here about how we're gonna, take care of, recouping that money and charging people for that, cause there's laws for it. But again, her deputies and her, they're spending time on this right now, and we're not, it's costing us money.
Who made the motion to do this?
I made the motion.
Rob and I second it.
I'm seconded.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Pacer, to take $2,500 from tax collection to hours of deputy clerks for reorganizing files, etc. Is that something somewhere in the area of where we are here? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion about this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thanks, everybody.
Did they ever find racks for your, down in the basement?
No. We haven't. Okay, this foiled, it depends on whether it's FOIA or FOIL. Now, if it's the government, Health and Human Services government, it's FOIA. And then the Freedom of Information Law for New York State is FOIL. So I guess it's not some of that priceless information, you can do with it whatever you want, but what are we?
So what's the discussion?
I don't know, it's on the agenda, but,
Well, we've actually discussed this before, where, if you have, and it's much, there's another section of the actual FOIL law, because this is request OTDA records to the New York State Freedom of Information Law, and it's somewhat the same, but what we need to look at is if we have a per sheet price for FOIL requests, and that's where if you have something that's just readily available and you want it run off, you charge a certain amount per sheets. But right in the FOIL law, it tells us that if you have information that has to be researched, well, then you come up with an estimate on an hourly rate of the person who has to research it, and then that's given as what the cost of a FOIL request would be. So, and right now, all we have is a per page charge.
can we,
We need to adopt it as a law, the second part of what you said, right, Ron? The town does?
I don't think we have our per page in the law.
We do.
What law?
New York State FOIL law.
No,
can we go?
our town.
Can we go on the record of using the Freedom of Information Law as the New York State presentation rather than the federal? Can we say that this is it?
This isn't it. This is Freedom of Information Law request for OTDA records through the New York State Freedom of Information Law. But it's not the actual Freedom of Information Law. So why don't we table this, get the Freedom of Information Law, and bring it in next month and look at it then.
I think you'll find it's charged 25 cents a page.
It says,
But you also can, if you have to do research.
Oh, yeah. I never got that
the,
far.
the way it's worded, it says an amount, it says, agency to charge a fee of 25 cents per copy for copies of records 9 times 14 inches, or actual cost of reproducing a record. In determining the actual cost of reproducing a record, an agency may include only the amount equal to the hourly salary attributed to the lowest paid agency employee who has the necessary skill required to prepare the requested records.
The federal law says you can charge between $23 and $43 an hour.
Well, here in the federal list, it says $23 to $83.
Oh, I'm sorry, yep, you're right.
$83, depending on the salary levels of the personnel needed for the search.
I'm not quite there yet.
You're close.
Maybe the federal, or you wanna table it? Is that the idea?
Yeah, we need to take a look at the law next month. And we can adopt that law as our policy.
Yeah, because this seems to be applicable to the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. And I know from looking at the FOIL law that
Bob's
they
got,
have,
Bob's
they
got a
have
different
general.
sheet. Bob's got a different sheet.
No, we got the
We
FOIA one too.
got the federal one,
Yeah, we
and we've got a
federal
state one
Okay.
that is only specific to a state agency.
Right.
There is a state one that reads close, but not quite. And I think that's the model we should follow.
Okay.
Do a quick motion on that, so you know.
To table?
Yeah.
Right. I make a motion that we table both the federal and state information that is specific to only one state agency, and look up the general law and bring it back for the May meeting.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Pacer to table the question on the FOIL Act. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
To answer your question, Bob, about the initial, this is the FOIL Information Act. This is the FOIL Information Law. This one.
Yeah.
This should be different.
Huh?
In other words,
for somebody out of state.
That's where the difference comes.
But
Yeah, yeah.
it still means that
You pay taxes for it.
if somebody's asking a per page item, we just give them the per page item.
So right now, it's 25 cents a page, right? Does that count the page that I have to write up? It counts the original
Page that-
request?
She has the request page.
Did you bring the request in with you?
She's not asking you.
Not today.
You're not on the board.
All right, next item
Huh?
12.
Did we want the, before we move on, do we want the fireman's report covered?
Yeah, do you have it?
Yes.
How much money did they generate from that?
Okay.
Who's got to do?
So this was first sent out to the town clerk, and then the town clerk sent it out to the councilman, and we probably should have what we were doing was slipping a copy into Bob's file so he could read it. So, this is from Matt Hendershot and your Stafford. This is April 10th, 2022 at 10:51 p.m. Your Stafford Fire Department answered 17 calls for services for the month of March. While volume was a little less than typical, these incidences included motor vehicle collisions and reported structure fires. Crews participated in training for fire behavior as well as extracting patients from mechanical equipment entanglement i.e. snow blower and farm equipment. We would remind residents of the current New York State burn ban is in effect, and as always, thank you for your support. Matt Hendershot, Fire Chief.
Okay.
He didn't break it down like he did the month before, like 130 EMTs and
No.
four, but
It was only 17.
Item number 12, town zoning law update. Jerry, you wanna give us your opinion on that? You work with it more than anybody else.
I just think it's time to, update our zoning laws because, they're kinda old. The other thing was, I talked to Bill Van Alst and Mike Latham, with the county putting this new, not things that don't need to go to them in effect, so. And Bill Van Alst said we should update our comprehensive plan also. So he thought maybe we should take a look at that first. They both thought that maybe each chairman and one person from their board, and maybe two of you guys could set up a committee and go through that stuff, so.
So we had, I've forgotten who was on the committee for the comprehensive plan, but that was, you know, at least you should have the planning and zoning board chairman on it, and maybe a person from each of them. That would be 4 people, and a couple of people at least from the town board. And then maybe some other people who are not on any of these boards that might be able to.
I would love to be on those committees. And I volunteer. I have lots of time. Can be available.
You want to change some zoning laws, but you can't protect the laws you got now. I mean, there's a lot of places that need to be cleaned up in the town, and nobody seems to care about them. Why have more zoning laws if you're not gonna do anything about them?
Not more, we have that you, pay for a building or a zoning permit in one and not a building permit, and it just doesn't match.
But why don't you take care of the zoning problems you got now? You know what I'm talking about. You drive by it every day.
I do.
And nothing's been done about it in the 25 years that I've lived here.
Well, they haven't owned it 25 years.
Well, for as long as they've had it, it hasn't been changed. Took them 25 years to get it that messy.
Well, that's not me, that's
That's zoning board.
that's the,
Isn't it a zoning board issue?
no, it's not zoning.
It's
Oh, okay.
code enforcement.
Code enforcement.
Any of these zoning laws are only for people that want to adhere to them or obey them. If you got somebody that doesn't want to, it's pretty tough to get them to.
No, it's
You know,
not.
there's a building on the corner, guy across the street.
That building on the corner ain't half as bad as these houses down here, okay? At least that's not a pigsty. It needs to be fixed, but it's not a pigsty.
Oh, yeah, let's-
Okay, well, I'm talking about the houses that are pigsties. There's one across the street, that looks real nice across the street from our town hall. That looks real nice. You come in our nice town, you go to the town hall and you see that across the street. That's real eye appealing.
Not as easy as it sounds.
Well, yes it is, they do it all the time in the city.
It's not as easy as it sounds, and it is on us to give him the resources. And we got a really limited budget this year, and it's gonna be very tough.
But if I didn't mow my lawn, or if I had 3 or 4 cars in my yard that didn't have plates on it, boy, you'd be right on my ass.
Excuse me?
Yeah, excuse you, yeah. Would you not?
Well, he wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. No, I'm not saying him.
Well, yes, you did say me.
Well,
You
I
as
think he
you
meant-
as a group. You who's ever in charge
Can
of
I
it.
finish?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's our job to give him the resources. Our budget is so slim this year, and let me finish.
I didn't say a word, did I?
And we talked about this at budget time, when we decided to keep the tax levy where it was, that we were gonna have to make some cuts. And one of the things we had to cut was the attorney's line on the budget. And we talked about this, how the repercussions that's gonna have. And one of those repercussions is not giving Jerry the legal help he needs. He can send all the letters he wants, but until that person can come to court and we can support him with an attorney, there's nothing else he can do but keep sending letters and letters and letters. He could send them, fines, but if they don't pay him and we can't take them to court, our hands are tied.
Why can't you take it to court?
Money.
No lawyer.
Come on, money.
Not for nothing, but that, I mean, I just moved here, but that house has to been like that for
How long time?
years.
Yeah.
I mean, this year's.
So it's not just
it
this
might
year's
not have
budget.
Money this year, but, I mean, in the city of Buffalo, where I used to live, if I didn't mow my grass, if I didn't have a sidewalk that was walkable, they would fine me immediately. You know, it's just, I don't know.
It's not just this year's budget. It's been going on that I know of, we've been arguing about it for 2 years. At least 2 years,
We're arguing where?
discussing this problem. Have we not? I got files, I got records. We've been
You've
talking
been
about it.
arguing here for 2 years?
Yes.
No,
You haven't been coming for 2 years.
Oh, I
no,
have
not
to.
here, not on that. We just,
So this goes back.
But I've been
to
going
our
by this house for 25 years. It's not,
This goes back to our town zoning law update, which no doubt it needs to be updated, and maybe we need to put some teeth in it that are not there now. And I think Jerry could probably be a big help there, and
Well, is anything we're discussed here, are they already ticketed and not complying with their tickets?
Oh,
All right.
but Jerry's response was, when I talked to him about it once, was, he's my neighbor, I don't wanna cause any waves. I gotta live next to him.
who?
Who? You.
the guy next to
The
us.
guy next to you.
I never said that.
You most certainly did.
I
Okay.
most certainly
I
did
know,
not.
I know. You never do anything you say you do.
all right, enough of that.
One question, does the attorney, when he comes to court, is it per case, or once he's in court, he'll handle all the cases? Because if
per
we have
hour.
Pontillo coming, why don't we schedule more, other people to come in on those days then?
It's per hour on the case, so.
It's a costly proposition. I don't have the numbers, but I can get them on how much we've paid our attorneys to litigate the place on the corner over here. It's quite a lot of money. I don't know how much it is, but I'll find out.
And it brings
Right,
it
but I
back.
bet you it's not as much
And
as
it and it
these
comes
other
back,
ones.
it comes back to saying that place on the corner, and it's not half as bad as this place across the street. By far.
Yeah, well,
But you can spend money on that, thousands and thousands of
at any
dollars.
rate, I can come up with a number on the place.
Oh, I'm sure you can, but what I'm saying is, why can't you spend money on places that need to be fixed, like across the street,
Well, we have.
on Pro Road?
We have. This one here,
You have when?
well, you've written him up, and he cleaned up the place a little bit.
When?
Got rid of, well, he didn't get rid of the cars. I think he moved them out back of the house, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
See, I have to live.
I know
next
you
to
do.
it.
yeah.
I know you do.
I mean, you drive by, you don't see half of what he's got over.
I know you do. And I'm surprised you're not saying something about it.
I've written letters and said a lot about it.
Okay? And where's it gotten you?
So what exactly is the process? Is that what we're gonna go through, is what the process is on these new zoning laws then? Because they definitely have to be updated.
If you recall, when we were in budget and we discussed how much should we budget for the lawyers, we said unless we have a safety issue, which we didn't think the Pontillo property or this property had at the current time, that we would leave it alone until we got till next year's budget.
Well,
That was the
there's a-
discussion.
There's a safety issue on the finger plot across the street. The fire department will not go in there.
All right, so if we
If
have,
there's an emergency or something, they won't go in.
See, now, right there, then, that should be able, that would be worth getting a lawyer as far as I'm concerned, just for those people's safety alone.
all right, it's a, what's it called when it's an attractive nuisance, is what we talked about? Where, say you had open doors on the Pontillo property that kids were getting into,
Well,
and
that's,
things like that. And we didn't have that at the time. So, again, our current zoning law gives us a path. It's not a great path, but it gives us a path on when we take legal action. Can it be improved? Probably. I haven't looked at it in probably the last 6 months.
well, I mean, we're talking about 3 pieces of property. I could add another one that I drive by going back and forth to Batavia every day.
But you also look at, when they talk about doing shared services, is we have to have prosecutors at the county level. Those very same prosecutors we use at the town level for traffic. But if you go to other counties in New York, they have where that's all handled by the same office, where your prosecutors are simply your prosecutors at the county level, and they handle both county and town court. Those same prosecutors can also be used for code enforcement also. So if you're saying, well, why, oh my God, why in Buffalo can they hit them so hard and you can't out here, is probably because Erie County has a shared service with their DA to go after these things.
The prosecutor that we have, I saw it on the line budget, that amount, they only do court cases?
They only do traffic.
Oh, okay.
So
But you
we have to
spend-
hire a lawyer separately to go after any code violations.
But you spent all this money on code violations for this one on the corner. You spent thousands of dollars, from what I understand, to fight him, and it's no further ahead now than it was before, but you can spend a red nickel on these people across the street, people on Pearl Road,
Well,
people
when
on
we-
Route 5.
You gotta remember, when we spent the money on the corner, there were people living there.
There's people living there.
No, I'm talking about the corner.
Right.
It was a safety issue, and that's why
Okay.
we concentrated on that.
But you're still fighting it. And there's nobody been living in it in years.
If we could do more, do you think I wouldn't do it?
Well, why don't you do something about the
between
house across?
both of them.
Exactly, why don't you do something about the house across the street? You're complaining about the one on the
Because they
corner.
would arrest me if I burned it.
Yeah. And the fire department won't come. I think that's
They'll
a safety
come, they
thing,
just,
if
they
the,
just have no entry.
yeah, that
They'll put a
I don't
thing up
even
and say,
think
"Okay,
that's,
stand
Let it
back."
burn.
So
Yeah, I don't-
those people get fined? I mean,
Can't find them for nothing inside their home.
What about the outside?
The outside you can.
So have they been fined across the street?
No. You gotta bring them to court to find them.
You can't write up a ticket and, oh,
Not unless you have a law that says you can, and we don't have that. That's why I wanna update the zoning law.
so like if I drive out here and go out the parking lot and go down the right, there's a barn that's on the ground practically right now.
Yep,
You can't write them up for that,
I can write them up for that. I cannot find
or you
them.
can't fine them.
These are the resources we've gotta give our code enforcement and zoning enforcement officer.
And actually, the barn that's down the street falls under the agricultural, which you can't find them, or you can't write them up. So, you would hope they would.
It's right by the street.
Yep.
So,
That's off, right?
changing
Sorry,
our
no.
zoning laws, looking
Still,
at our zoning
yeah.
laws and comprehensive plan is gonna be a step toward giving Jerry what he needs to.
I think the zone,
Address
we
things.
talked about this prior to the pandemic. Should we work on our zoning laws, or should we pull together a study group for the comprehensive plan? And we said we should look at our zoning laws first. And then the world blew up for us a little bit, and now we gotta get back to it. But yeah, from everything we saw then, the zoning laws are the ones that we need to
That's right.
make sure that they're consistent with the New York State Code.
Mhm.
that they're consistent just within the law itself. Because there's things where it asks for one thing in one part of the law and another thing in another part of the law. So I would encourage getting a study group going on our zoning laws.
All right, so we'll put the word out to the zoning board of appeals and the planning board that we need what? At least 2 people from each of those boards and 2 people from this board. It'll be 6 people, that's enough.
Well, then you have a volunteer.
And, yeah. You should have someone from the community, put it out on the website or something, that you're looking for people, like you did the solar law.
We can do that.
I agree with that.
Put it together at the next meeting, and these people can say when they're gonna get together and hopefully come up with a law that gives us some authority to make some changes in some of these places. I mean, like I say, we've talked about 3 places, and I'm sure there are others. But there again, can we just find them, or do we have to involve an attorney?
Can we change our law so we can fine them without taking them to court? That's what
Without taking them to court?
Yeah. Can we can't pass a law to do that?
The local law?
Not without them showing up for court first.
Well, at any rate,
You can give them an appearance ticket, and if they don't show up, then they get fined for that, so that's something
But
we
just-
have,
just
that's something we
like
have done and so.
Although we're not big on enforcing, just like a parking ticket would go that same way. So you issue a parking ticket.
Correct.
If they skip court, then you fine them.
Right.
I didn't say so, but this committee should also empower our code and zoning enforcement officer.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So should we, actually, you should have 2 from planning, 2 from zoning, 2 from the board, 2 from the public, and your zoning guy.
Okay? We'll put out the word, and hopefully at the May meeting, we can put this together. Sound good?
Yep.
All right.
Will we need more than 1 copy of the New York State Building Code?
We go by the ICC.
Alright. Is that available electronically where people can look it up?
It is.
Alright. But, again, we need to also keep reminding the county that there's a lot of things that other counties prosecute that they don't. I mean, you remember I was a bug on this, why do we have to hire prosecutors? Well,
Yeah.
because Larry Friedman refused to recognize that he should use his prosecutors for here. So, we're hiring the exact same people simply to, they could be there sleeping in their office for all we know, on the county's dime, and then they come here and they charge us. No, it should be put together. It is put together other places, but if the DA doesn't cooperate, you're dead.
Well, they're getting paid whether they're sleeping at their desk or whether they're here.
Yeah, not right. So,
They're getting paid.
I'm not accusing
Why should
them
we
of
give them
sleeping at their desk. I'm simply saying-
Well, all right.
Simply saying that it's simply saying that there's economies of scale we could get with traffic and zoning enforcement that other counties get and we don't. And normally when you have a condition where it's an extremely prompt response to these things, it's because they have that type of setup.
All right, are we ready to move on here?
Yes, I think we checked this one pretty well.
Number 13 is Terry.
Nope, I'm done.
No comment?
Nope. They'll say it's legal, it's legal.
Linda, you're on.
Thank you. The Garden Club, Stafford Garden Club is requesting that they be able to put a banner on the fence at Emery Park for their plant sale in May. The plant sale is on a Wednesday, I believe it's the 20th of May. They did it last year. And the plant sale is just for one day, but they'd like to advertise a little bit beforehand so that the public going past will know to stop.
So you're looking for our permission for them to have their sale and put a sign up, right?
They've already, well, they've got the park reserved for the sale, but they're asking that they could put a sign on the fence.
Anybody have a problem with that? No?
We haven't we done this previously?
Yes.
Okay. So move.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Deason to allow the
See, I kept quiet.
Stafford Garden Club.
the garden club to put a sign on the fence at Henry Park. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Second question. Linda Call would like to know if you folks would give her money to put flowers around the flagpole. I've done it for several years. Usually use geraniums, and we usually say $50, and last year we went to $75.
Flowers are expensive if anybody's ever bought any.
Do we have the budget?
Well, I didn't hear.
Do we have
So move, $75.
second? Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Payson.
Can we put perennials in so they grow back every year?
That's a good idea.
To allow the, Linda to put flowers around.
A partial answer to your question is they are already planted tulips. So half of the early season is covered with tulips there.
Oh,
Okay, all in favor of doing this and giving her $75?
Tulips are pretty, but it don't last very long. When they're up, they look nice.
the deer lily.
Yeah.
All right,
Another announcement, please. The Historical Society is having their first meeting since the pandemic started. We're meeting on the 28th, which is Thursday night, so I cannot. I had a anyway, we meet in the courtroom. Everyone is invited. We meet at 7 o'clock, and this month we're going to start out with a bit of organizational stuff, and then we're going to have a speaker review her book on the Seven Springs Country Club. She's written a book, Mary Ellen Reardon, and she lives down in the country club, and she's written a history. It's about a little bit more than 100 years old down there, and she's got a neat little book written about the history, and so she's going to tell us more about it.
Don't we have court on Thursday nights?
Oh, that's always been my problem. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's written down as Wednesday.
Wednesdays.
Okay.
Wednesday, the 27th.
Back before we had court on Thursday night, that was our night, and it's taken me years. I cannot.
So she's available for the
So you're
Thursday.
Oh, I guess so.
How about Monday, May 2nd,
Oh, she can come the 28th.
for the review of the
If
historical?
that's better for you, yes.
Yeah, that way it frees you up,
May 2nd.
okay?
Yes, thank you. Anyway, do come to the Historical Society if you'd like.
and that's when?
Wednesday,
Not Thursday.
not Thursday.
I was gonna come Thursday.
Yeah, okay. I got it on my calendar as Thursday, so.
It's right there.
You should have gotten a letter. I hope I wrote it on the right day. You got a letter in the mail?
Yeah,
Oh, please God, did I put the right date on?
Well, all right,
Thank you.
yep. Anything else? We missed, Don, you had something there? or-
I brought it up. It was for supporting Barb with that extra money.
Can I ask where we stand with the solar project?
Haven't heard anything.
What solar project?
I don't know, I was looking on their website, it seems like they sold a bunch of their projects off that never even got built. They sold them to another company called Capital. I mean, I don't know if that's ever come up in conversations, but they're negotiating like they're gonna own this thing, and it looks like they sell most of their projects off.
That's why our law has where it follows when they sell it.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That's common practice, that they develop them and sell them, so our law says that it has to, the ownership,
Has to stay with them.
has to stay with, they have to comply to our law no matter who the owners are. 'Cause it's a big tax dodge, so these guys develop them, they sell them to, other companies to mitigate their taxes,
Right.
so.
We've dealt with this for windmills, fracking, it's the whole thing. The original company comes to us, and they wanna do this, and this, and if they do it, then somebody else owns it.
Yeah, they aren't harvesting the wind, they aren't harvesting the sun, they're harvesting the taxpayer, so.
Yeah.
But the zoning board that heard our hearing the other day didn't hear that particular complaint that we know about, this one that this man is just telling us tonight, how they sell it off, and we don't even, I would think that the proprietor, the owner, the lease people, the Stafford person, after a while wouldn't even know who he's doing business with. And the zoning board, unless they know those kind of things, aren't gonna know really how to fall on this decision.
But think about it.
But all they're doing is approving a variance, they're not approving
Yeah.
a solar project.
It's the same thing on anything you build. You can have people come in, they develop a housing project, and they sell off the homes to somebody else. We still expect compliance out of the people who buy the homes. Same thing with our laws for commercial projects. And this one's industrial, so and industrial projects.
And can you reassure us that you do have the teeth to do that?
Yes, it's right in the law.
Okay.
Everything follows.
Executive.
Because that's a worrisome
Yeah.
feeling or idea.
All right, are we doing round table, or, because I've got some stuff.
I got,
around
Ann,
table.
are you,
Yeah.
you're not just here to
Well, I just think you're just a good-looking bunch, and I,
watch an excellence in government in
no, I was
action.
asked to be here, but, if that's no longer valid, then,
No, it's still, I think it's still valid.
okay, and then I'm just hanging out until it's my turn.
Why?
When are we gonna do that? Exactly.
Normally, we go right down to getting round table done, pay the bills, go into executive session,
Yeah,
and invite Ann in.
okay, she's gonna be part of the exec,
Yes.
okay, all right. Steve, what do you got?
Not much, waiting on the state to tell us how much money we get, and working at the park. Gonna stain beams on the pavilions and pull another 30,000 staples on the walls.
You didn't start that yet?
Getting there. Other than that, not much. Gonna be kind of a slow summer, I think, with the high asphalt prices.
Yeah.
Pretty
No,
quiet.
You're in pretty good shape anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we pushed years ago, getting all these pipes replaced,
Yeah.
because you can't even get culvert pipe if you wanted some.
No.
It's saving. I mean, everything is,
Did you have any, roads you were gonna pave?
I was planning on doing Twing Road at mile 1.6, but I'll let you know how much money we're getting, what the price is.
Right.
It might be a little bit, all
It's
of it.
pretty good, all of it?
Yeah.
It's pretty good up where I am.
Yeah, we mix paved that 12 years ago, which
Yeah.
is just builds the base. So it's time for it to be capped.
Lipman Road is terrible.
It's coming. Good luck with that. We're building a jail, Jim. Don't worry about the road.
I would say you could, maybe you're seeing something I don't, I think you could stretch to another
Yeah.
year.
I'm either kicking around Twing or going over that sweet one. Doing another stretch from Roanoke to Trancer or Roanoke to Leroy. Well, those,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, one of the things coming out of GAM was that the county wants to get together with all of the towns over broadband. Now, Bob and I, to follow up on that, we made a call over to Matt Landers. And again, within a couple of minutes of calling, we had him on the line. And we wanted to find out what the county was up to and try to mesh it with what we're up to. And see if we can't get some money to finish up the what remains. We also, the runaway map, we found it again. So we have the map, shows where we have cable, where we don't. It is after what road is it? Wayne Leighton was on it.
Randall?
Randall, thank you. It's after Randall, but before they did that new one down Thwing and down Buck.
I tried to get a new map today, and they didn't have any idea what I was talking about.
All right, that's unfortunate. So now what I've done,
They've moved their office, by the way, they're not on Cedar Street anymore. They're out in Plaza, out by Walmart.
that's their retail. I'm surprised that they're,
No, they have another location somewhere else too. It's,
They gave me a customer service number to call, and I haven't called it, but I will. Let's see if we
all right. Now, one of the other things we covered with Matt is that we're gonna apply for a grant to see if we can't get some money to finish this off. Now, one of the things I'd like to, there's two dates that are essential. April 22nd is letter of intent. And then it's 2 months, so it's like May 22nd, June 22nd. I gotta check the date, so don't quote me on it. Sometime in June, you have to turn in your application. Well, there isn't much difference. If you had all the detail, there wouldn't be much difference between the letter of intent and the application. But because we would need to get, it would be good to get something from Spectrum. I'm a fan of trying to get something from them in detail on how much they would charge to finish up Stafford. Because what we did was we took the map, we took what the per mile charge was that they have given us on other projects, and then transferred that to how much we don't have done, and it came out to about 400,000. Now, since the other thing I had to research was, are we a distressed county in the Department of State's eyes, and the answer is yes. So now, rather than a 50% match, we have to have a 20% match. So what you have to have is you have to have a cover letter, which I have. You have to have a narrative, which I covered. I can do it real quick. Paragraph 1 covers our history. You guys got it?
Yep.
Paragraph 1 covers our history where we didn't have competing companies, so they didn't do the whole town. People who had competing companies got their whole town done. We didn't. that we're going to coordinate with the county, because the county's put up $5 million against going after this. Well, there's 9 towns, that'd be a pretty substantial amount for Stafford. When you look at what we need, it looks like about, I think I said, about 400,000 from them and 100,000 from us would do it, would finish up Stafford completely. If you look at this portion, the state has a ranking system, and what I did is I simply highlighted where we stood in the ranking system. What hurts us, I don't know what hurts us. What lowers our score? We have a 36 out of 50. What lowers our score is that we already have the center of the town done. And if you can see on page 16 of 55 here, is the project located downtown or community center gets you 5 points. Is the project located outside gets you 1 point. So those are the type of things that, support for workforce development. Is it a creative new approach to support the workforce? No, it's a project generally supports workforce training. Unless somebody can give me a better reason why to bump that score up, those are the 2 low ones. So we've got that done, and then you have to have a budget document, and unfortunately, the budget document's very simple. You have the amount of length of road and their per mile charge, and that's it, unless we can get some more from them. So I think I'm all set to send this in on the 22nd, as long as I get some detail. Now, there's a couple of things, once we have a letter of intent in, I was gonna cover the resolutions tonight, but without it being rock solid, what the numbers are, why do resolutions? We probably need a resolution to move, we've got 460,000 of unassigned reserve. So that's basically when you don't spend it and it goes into reserve, we have 460,000. Other towns have done it like us where they didn't attribute, they didn't assign a specific amount to be held back for franchise expansion. Batavia did. So right now they're sitting on 400,000 for expansion, but don't forget they're a lot bigger than us too. And that's what we're going to have to get in, is that detail, and see if we can get some money against it. The other one is that I think we should pass a resolution that says we should have a higher reserve. We should pass a resolution that says we will coordinate with the county, and if we get a petition asking to expand our broadband before this all gets finished up, we should balance that against the county priorities. So we have a slight change in procedure, but I can have those resolutions for the next meeting.
You gotta have something by, what, of this month?
I simply think it would be a superior letter of intent if we had some detail out of Spectrum. If they don't give it to us, I think we should send the letter of intent anyways.
Do we get any of this money back on a franchise fee?
What's that?
Do we get any of the money back in the franchise?
Yeah, we get about 33,000 a year.
The more you look up, the more you get back.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is the rough estimate, by looking at this, basically took that they wanted 25,000 to go from Morganville to Thwing. So we took that measurement, and it just happened to turn out to be 6 inches on the ruler on a scaled map. And then we moved around all the places that didn't have cable showing on it, and added that all up, and then converted it, and it came out to like 375,000. So then we said, all right, round up. Yeah, the map, where is the map now? We found it.
Can I ask, what's the 460,000 in reserves?
I've got it in my office, you want it?
When you,
Wagons
all right.
to,
when you pass a budget and collect taxes, right? And you don't expend every dime of your tax dollars, that becomes a reserve.
Okay.
And then over the years, it builds up. And during the pandemic, we took a big chunk out of it.
Didn't we get 130,000 from the, what was that called?
The American Rescue Plan, that helps with broadband.
Yeah, there's it's a note from Heidi. And basically it says it's all covered by our losses and our court fees. Because basically what we did is we put it into our general fund knowing that the big losses we have on court fees it'll be a very easy application then to send. So they gave us the money, Heidi applied back as these are our, she did the history 219, 220, showed our losses, sent in the documentation. It's in your email.
You can use part of that 80,000 that Bob just deposited last month from franchisees.
We're
Yeah,
already,
in February, yeah.
In February, he said he got a check for $80,000.
for years now, we have been using franchise fees right into the general fund. That's why we're the third lowest taxes in the county.
What's our bank balance right now? Anybody know?
$3.27.
That's what mine is.
Isn't it 475,000?
Yeah, so we over budget too.
Which makes sense if our reserve is 460. Have we processed the taxes on top of it?
Basically, we only got it.
So you could take that 80,000 that we just got 2 months ago and that 130,000 we got from the rescue thing and put that towards it. That's $210,000, $211,000.
Or are you saying-
Unfortunately, we've already lost all the money on fines.
So-
We need something to go against our
You're
budget.
saying the 130 American Rescue Plan money has already been spent?
It's gone.
Okay, because I asked that last month and you
So you
said
haven't touched it
no,
yet.
you hadn't touched it yet.
Well, I don't know.
So now it's
They
gone?
spent it all this month.
Can't spend it yet.
Anything we get, we've already put in the budget against,
Yeah, it's in.
General
it's in-
expenses.
In the general fund.
Goes on in the ground.
so no matter when when it arrives, it's gonna go against our general fund.
Yeah,
It
this
goes
is
in
true.
their account.
But wasn't there a special way that you had to spend that 130?
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there is.
And we did,
On what?
our missing, revenue.
Oh, yeah, $130,000 in revenue?
Oh, yeah.
How come last month when we asked, you said it wasn't spent yet? We don't know what we're gonna spend it on. And this month is gone.
I don't know.
It was $130,000 missing. If it wasn't spent last month, it's gone this month. You
No,
do
it may
math.
not, it may not be gone, it may be sitting
Oh,
in
no,
our
it may not be
checking
gone,
account.
okay.
I think that, I can't point it out right now.
He's just saying it's in the general fund.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not supposed to be in the general fund.
Well, no, it can be in the general fund.
That's where everything goes.
So that's a special way you have to allocate that out, right, with the American Rescue Plan?
They allowed us to,
Right,
you could either do projects,
right.
which, all right, if you want us to raise your taxes and go do projects, that's a whole different taint than
Well,
what.
our taxes
what
are gonna
we've
be
been
getting
doing.
raised next year, so that should be, next year we should be looking good. When are we gonna get the other 130 from the American Rescue Plan? Anybody know?
I don't know.
Of course not.
Hang on.
They didn't know that last month either.
I don't understand if we have a reserve, well, our taxes are going up,
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question.
you know?
We're trying some rules.
And yet we don't have the resources to give him the support he needs
Yeah.
to enforce the code laws.
Yeah.
So none of this is making sense to me right now.
Plain and simple, we set a budget. And all of our resources are going into the general fund just to maintain a budget that is just about exact to the last year. But right now, when we normally would be passing, we would be sending on to the state 70,000, we are sending them 17,000. That's how much our fines are down. So, I mean, if there's
But when you
there's
say
some
there's a
real popular, if you guys want us to spend money, we're gonna have to raise your taxes.
But when you say there's a $460,000 reserve and you're earmarking $100,000 possibly for cable, I'm trying to figure out where the hell the money's coming from. It doesn't make any sense when you tell me you don't have budget for it, but now you're gonna spend $100,000 on cable. Yet we have houses that are falling apart, we have he needs resources to be able to find and get these people into court. We don't want to spend money for a lawyer to make the town look nice, but we want to get cable, and you have $100,000 for that, but you don't have the money for anything else. Where's the money coming from then if you have $100,000 for cable?
From the franchise.
Franchise fee. We'll have to add it up. We didn't, but there.
You said you just spent that 80,000 in franchise fees last month. Didn't go towards
No, it
cable.
went into general fund.
It went
and
general
then it
fund,
went
yeah, then it
to
went out,
other
yeah, exactly.
things.
Why didn't that go towards cable? Let's just pull that 100,000 out of the sky and not give Jerry any resources or get a lawyer to fight these houses across the road.
But we may get grant money, right, for the cable?
Well, but you have to have matching
You
money
still
for
have
the
to
grant.
Oh,
you
yeah,
still have to have
right,
funds for that, right?
So what I'm suggesting is that we assign that reserve so that we're not lying to the Department of State that we have money to match it. But by the time we get it, we'll probably have 2/3 of it come in from the franchise fee. And we'll be in a better spot.
Understood.
So, if we get an update from Spectrum, and Bobby said you're gonna try your connections for that.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any connections, but I thought I did.
And then, this goes in as a PDF to, the, Department of State. And I'll make sure I get it in, and, then we have a second due date in June. And I'm not gonna quote right now. We'll see if we can get it. So. That's enough for me, isn't it?
So did we actually get 80,000 2 months ago or last month or whatever it was that you said you deposited?
I'm gonna have to look back.
Well, you said it was 80,000,
Now,
and according to Heidi, and that was only 8,000. There's a big difference.
you're right, I might have been mistaken
Yeah, because her most recent letter said that our 2021, that seems so large, our 2021 franchise fee was $31,000. So give me just a second here, I'm on ease, let me get that.
Yeah, last year, 33,000.
Yeah, there it is. I don't know where we got 80,000.
I don't know where she got 8,000 either if you got 33.
It's every
That
quarter.
was for the whole year.
Yeah, 8,000 every quarter.
Okay. All right, and she just sent this around, if you want to bring up that to use the funds from a reserve account, you have to do that by permissive referendum. With that being said, you can designate funds, and that does not to be spent by permissive referendum. So make sure our words are designate, not use. And really, it's like a bookmarker, just to make sure that we have something there while our franchise fees accumulate. That's why I'm gonna want a resolution that says we allow our franchise fees to accumulate into a reserve account. To me, it's worth it to try to get the extra money.
Sure.
Well, you can find out what, without a separate account, you can find out how much there is in the general fund that is franchise fee.
Okay, so now here's Heidi's feedback on how we handled the American Rescue Plan. As you have heard, the ARPA funding reporting is due by 4/30 of '22. Below is a link from YouTube for a presentation given by the U.S. Department of Treasury. Marcy and I have both watched the presentation and are recommending that the reporting for the town of Stafford be reported for under revenue loss standard allowance, which is what we said from the get-go. We're bleeding incoming so bad, especially, the court always was pretty sharp for us. This is the most simplified reporting option, allows you to use your funds as revenue loss with only the following restrictions. Funds cannot be used for tax reductions, which we didn't do, debt service we didn't do, or pension deposits. The option would allow you to report annually instead of quarterly. So it simply went into the, if you want me to look back farther from her other letters on the American Rescue Fund, I can do it. But she basically told us each time it came in, and it was going into the general fund.
The loss of revenue from the court.
Yes.
Pretty simple.
Okay.
Don't get any simpler than
Are we done with me? Yes.
that.
Yes.
I'm all set till we go into executive session.
Barb, you get anything?
No, I just wanna say taxes are done. I'm very happy.
All right.
We're good.
Now, and don't forget with this, let's look back in history. Barb took this on and she did a gigantic part of it without a lot of help from Walt. Previously, Walt did the 2018 taxes in total. It wasn't until we got till 2019 that things blew up. So you actually did it well in advance of what history has shown. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Scott German is quiet, right?
Yeah, he's fine.
Jim? Anything further we're missing? Pay the bills.
Okay, I make a motion that we pay general fund number 004. It's missing a Charter Communications invoice, so I crossed it off. It's a difference of $250, so the new amount is $28,038.24. And again, I highlighted it during our discussion. The big header in it is $17,000 to the state controller. And if you recall, 4 or 5 years ago, that would have been $75,000 or more per month.
So what is that, number 4?
This is number 4. General fund number 4, $28,038.24.
We need a motion to pay general fund number 4.
I made that motion. You need a second.
Second.
No, I don't see any.
This time. We got 200 grand into that, we got nothing done.
Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Mullen to pay general fund abstract number 4 in the amount of $28,038.24. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay.
Make a motion to pay highway number 004 for $31,648.79.
Second.
Big chunk of that is stone. and rock salt.
31,648.
full.
Yep.
What's the cents there?
79.
79.
Next year.
Oh, yeah.
Did you second it?
Yes. We need to generate some money.
Motion by Councilman Deason, second by Councilman Pacer, to pay highway abstract number 4 in the amount of $31,648.79. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's all the bills, right?
That's it?
Is it?
On your order, like,
Is it next year?
yeah.
We figured that.
You're up, Dennis.
That's what he's saying, so.
I make a motion that we go into executive session and invite, our town assessor.
At
And
9:25.
Probably something that we made such a big project. We're having tough time getting light.
Who seconded it?
I can't